Thank you for joining me today to talk about alternative sentencing for nonviolent offenders. 1 out of every 100 Americans is incarcerated. If you include those who are on probation, the number skyrockets to 1 out of every 31 people are justice involved in the United States. When considering the size of our nation, the numbers are quite staggering. 2/3 of the 1 in 100 Americans that are incarcerated are being released in less than 3 years. When you consider that in the context of our local community, there are a lot of people being incarcerated for crimes that are being released after being warehoused, just simply warehoused, for 3 years or less. This results in hundreds of thousands of tax dollars being spent on warehousing nonviolent offenders. And these nonviolent offenders will be re-entering our community, now unemployed, now with a criminal record. A lot of them are now felons. And with recidivism rates up around 50-60%, there's a perpetuating cycle that is costing our community hundreds of thousands of dollars. We all want better schools, better roads, and to pay less taxes. The problem is that somebody has to pay the bill. Somebody has to pay for the better schools and the better roads. The problem is there's a snake in the bush that's biting us all. Alternative sentencing could play a major role in saving enough tax dollars to foot the bill for things that make our community a better place to live, not only for us, but for our children. It costs on average over $30,000 to warehouse one inmate for 1 year. Considering, again, the number of people that are incarcerated, the numbers are mind-blowing. Literally millions of dollars in the state of Virginia are spent every year on simply incarceration costs. Our prisons are full, and what seems to be the government solution? Build more prisons. Alternative sentencing is a solution that will not only save us millions of dollars, it will reduce recidivism and increase the number of children that grow up with a father in their life. You know, there are so many children today growing up without a father figure in their life, which perpetuates the cycle even more, because now these children are growing up at risk. They're growing up getting involved in gangs and doing a lot of things that are just keep this cycle growing and growing and growing. Alternative sentencing could solve a lot of these problems, save us millions in tax dollars spent on incarcerated related costs. You know, 80% of those who are incarcerated are there because of drugs and alcohol. It's either a possession charge, a DUI, or they're there for some sort of larceny or writing bad checks, doing crime to simply support their habit. There's a substance abuse program in the Hampton Roads region of Virginia, Youth Challenge, saved taxpayers over $2.9 million in incarceration costs in 2010 alone, based on the number of residents that came to the program from all the Hampton Roads courts as an alternative to incarceration in those jails. $2.9 million in 1 year, saved by one program. Local drug courts, another alternative to incarceration. Per participant, an annual cost of an average of about $5,000. It's a whole lot cheaper than the $29,000 that it costs the state of Virginia on average. Other related costs are borne by the taxpayers, such as dependents of inmates now on public assistance. Every dollar spent on drug treatment saves $7 in these social medical costs. That's a lot of savings. That's a great return on investment. Alternative sentencing Also reduces recidivism. Youth Challenge, like I discussed before, uh, not only helps individuals overcome their addictions, they also provide vocational skills, training, continued education. They get their GED while they're in the program, and then once they complete the training phase of the program, then there's job placement assistance and even job opportunity within the program. And there's other programs just like that all across the state. This better sets individuals up for success. The one particular program Youth Challenge has a success rate of 65%. 65% of those who complete the program 5 years later, because that's the government standard, are still clean and sober after 5 years and doing well. No new charges. Nationally, 43% of released prisoners are reincarcerated within 3 years. Alternative sentencing decreases this number drastically. And by decreasing recidivism, it also decreases the number of children that grow up with incarcerated parents. You know that there are approximately 1.5 million children in America whose father is incarcerated. This perpetuates the cycle again. These children grow up without a father figure. They're at risk most of the time. There's some sort of conflict. They're either getting in drugs or there's a performance issue in school. Some get involved in gangs. Alternative sentencing keeps these fathers working, bettering themselves, and providing for their families. Alternative sentencing has many benefits to our communities economically and socially. Rather than incarcerating nonviolent offenders, alternative sentencing provides solutions that not only save money, but help the offender better him or herself and break the cycle of recidivism. It also benefits our children as it keeps parents in a position to take care of their families. In these trying economic times, we have been forced to look at our families, our businesses, and how we can cut costs and maximize our budgets. Why is it that government shouldn't have to do the same thing? Millions of dollars are being spent on what is essentially a revolving door of warehousing, releasing, and re-warehousing nonviolent offenders over and over again, the same people, again and again, in and out, in and out. Alternative sentencing provides many viable solutions that government must take a look at. It saves money that can be better spent on roads and schools. And with over 80% of those incarcerated for drug and related charges, treatment makes much more sense than just placing them in a cell and letting them out 36 months later. If we can get these nonviolent offenders the help they need for the problem, it not only saves the money, it keeps them from going back, but it also gives a child a better chance of not repeating the cycle.